A group of us in 2008 were meeting in a church hall with a gleam in our eye to build and start up a Emmaus community here in Hastings and St Leonards. Emmaus is a charity that helps the homeless people, the poor and the homeless of society, get back into mainstream life. The biggest problem we had was the site that we purchased, this 1.3 acre site, had planning permission for light industrial come offices. We wanted, as an Emmaus community, to have retail, i.e. we wanted to be able to sell second-hand goods, and we wanted to, more importantly, have residential accommodation here on the site. Now that doesn't fit into the usual plan that your local borough planner has, and in fact this particular area is designated on the local plan as light industrial. So we had to convince the planners that what we wanted to do they could go along with. And we did that as far as the accommodation block is concerned by going down the route of having modular buildings as against the normal brick-built, concrete-built structures. Modular buildings in the planner's eyes meant that they could initially give us 3 years planning approval, and theoretically what you had installed by crane you could take away by crane. So they gave us initially 3 years. When the 3 years was up, I'm pleased to say they saw the light and gave us extended planning approval for the site here. Bob, our architect, had sort of put the plans together and we knew roughly what we wanted. The problem was in 2009 was finding someone to build it for us.
We found it remarkably difficult to get satisfactory tenders from suppliers actually, and some of the larger leading companies in the field just actually didn't deliver. They were proved to be very inflexible, expensive, and rather wasteful in space when they came to lay out the building to suit their standard scheme.
It was a contact of a friend who said, "Oh, I know this little company in Nottingham, they might be able to do it for you." And that we phoned up, and a chap called Dan Holloway came down to see us, and it took off from there. And I have to say that in all my years of doing projects, it's probably one of the best pieces of luck that we had. It was it's been a very, very fruitful relationship.
So Emmaus was, for us, a very worthwhile project in many ways. First of all, we were able to work closely with an outside architect to come up with a design for a modular hostel building, in essence.
I think, obviously, that Dan's expertise has been, for this type of building, is generally from the education sector, and accommodation block was a new development for them, a new field. And I think we worked actually together on trying to make sure that we were complying with all of the regulatory requirements that we needed to do. That's obviously very important. And so I think they had to adapt several of their standard details. In particular, we were concerned about fire separation between the bedrooms. We were concerned about noise insulation, sound insulation between the bedrooms. All of these were key factors as far as building regulations approval was concerned. And I found working with Trevor and his CAD technicians very rewarding, actually.
The other advantage of modular building, once you've put the foundations in and the services, you can put in the first lot of modules. And in our case, as we have done, as we got more money, as we were able to raise more money, we were able to add further sets of modules to the existing building, actually just by undoing the emergency staircase at the far end of the building, moving it along and plonking the next lot of units in place.
All the internal fittings were incorporated into the building in the factory. So essentially the building, when it was delivered, was just linked together, and all the service connections or inter-module service connections were done on site. As far as the actual inclusions within the building itself, there was a plant room, which heated all the showers. Each bedroom had its own ensuite shower. So we had to consider the plant room would have the capacity not just to provide water heating for the initial phase, but also for the 2 other phases that were going to come on stream. Also, there was a common room, there was a manager's room that was incorporated on the ground floor of the building, and an internal staircase and an external fire escape.
I'm very pleased with the building overall. It's no architectural masterpiece. It's a fairly basic rectangular block, but also you have to bear in mind, what we're building it for. It's not intended to be a 5-star hotel. It's designed to be good, basic, clean, comfortable, hostel accommodation. Yeah, 1 or 2 features have helped, I think, to just lift the appearance a little bit. The brise soleil was a very functional element to reduce solar heat gains in the summer. It avoided the use of air conditioning, saving a lot of money. But it does add a little bit to the visual aspect of the main elevation. But also we have to bear in mind that we're sited on an industrial estate. So the building actually, it does at least fit in with the finishes of the buildings around. I think the most important thing ultimately is that the residents seem to be very pleased with the accommodation. Their living accommodation, the bedrooms. It's not over generous, it's not huge, but they seem to be very, very pleased with them.
It's nice to look back upon that project and look back on the relationships that we built while we designed and completed the project, and it was very rewarding for us, and I think it was very rewarding for the whole team, our design team, and also our installers.
We had good relationships not only with their own operatives who were actually doing the installation work, but also with the directors, the owners of the company, and with their senior staff in the drawings, the specifications, the problem solving that by its very nature comes along as the project evolves. So no, it was good. And I'll be quite honest with you, I haven't come across in all my years many companies that you would strongly recommend, but I would in Dan's case, yeah.